DC Multiverse!
So how's it going, super friends? Today, I have the privilege of being able to share with you probably one of the coolest McFarlane Toys Batman figures that has been made to date. A Batman figure so classic, I would even go out on a limb and say that this will be many collectors' be-all that end-all 7-inch scale McFarlane Toys Batman figure. That's right, today we're going to have a look at the McFarlane Toys Knightfall Batman action figure. The classic blue, gray, with an oval and a capsule belt. The version that I'm sure many Batman fans have been waiting for. So, out of the package we can see we have the figure and the trading card. He comes with two sets of hands, two fisticuffs hands and two grabby McOpen hands, as well as one Batarang. The image on the front of the trading card is one and the same as that as the cover of Batman issue 491, which was the very first comic book across all of the Batman titles in the Knightfall story arc. Now this Batman figure, though it doesn't look exactly like any one artist's artwork, it can be very strongly argued that this is the definitive black and gray with an oval and capsule belt look for the Dark Knight. And his overall body proportions are also much more slender than the slightly more beefier Batman that we're used to seeing currently. If you just compare him here to these versions of McFarlane Toys Batman, they're all trying to exemplify varying body types for the Dark Knight detective. The facial profile and head sculpt of this figure, along with the paint apps that go with it, everything looks top-notch. The deco looks great. This really does have a very Batman-y look. Some folks are probably going to buy this figure and paint the black on his face. Some will be content with it as blue, but I certainly think it is a fantastic head sculpt. Something that I really like about this Batman figure is that he definitely has a completely all-new body buck. And I like how you can see like the wrinkles from his suit, meaning that it's basically just cloth going across his pecs and his waist and up his chest there. This is a really fantastic bodysuit. You can see all those details there. This Batman really just has your classic old school gauntlets with that 90s style capsule utility belt. And this right here really was a thing for certain artists, just to have the clasp in the middle and not the big buckle. That Betty Bat emblem on his chest is really nicely, really well done. And as you can see, he just has your classic blue pointed bat boots. The tone of gray that is used for this Batman, some may argue it's a tad light. I think the different artists at different times have drawn him and made the gray this light. Like if I put my hand in the shot here, it'll darken it just a little bit, and yeah, that pretty much is what I'm looking at is what you're looking at. They're pretty much the same. Batman's cape is nice and soft and rubber. And you know what? It's capes like this that make me feel like non-cloth goods capes are actually okay. It just goes right here around his torso, but I do like the fact that it goes all the way around. And yet the head has that complete mobility, because it's a ball peg on top of his neck, rather than having the articulation point down here in the body, which sucks. Also, they have opted here for the sculpted hinge for the wrists, and also for the boots. I think that's the way to go, and hopefully going forward, that is how McFarlane Toys decides they're going to cover up their hinges from now on. Also, he is fairly articulated. I mean, you've got the McFarlane Toys torso articulation with a ball joint in the chest, and look at that, it really opens up and you can see more of his abs. So when you go to get him into a dynamic pose, you've got the abs there that will really look nice. The arms are on the rounded hinge with the socket, the 360 bicep, as well as the really crunchy double jointed elbows, that sculpted rounded hinge in the wrist, and there's a lot of articulation there. The head, of course, being on a ball peg is going to allow for, well, it should allow for quite a bit. I'm not complaining. I mean, he's not a flight character, so I don't mind if his head can't go all the way back. So that's definitely good enough for me. Of course, you've got the waist, and the waist is a tighter piece of articulation. But Working together with the torso articulation, you certainly are going to find this Batman is quite posable from the waist up. Of course, we have McFarlane's clickety rounded hinge there, and what does he... well, yeah, that's better than a lot of them get. That's passable as far as I'm concerned. Double jointed knees, got the shaped hinge in the ankle, which back and forth, pivot and toe. If we're going to do just a few more comparisons, why don't we do a comparison with Batman next to Bane? That Bane is huge. Of course, we have Batman with Knightfall, Catwoman, and Knightfall as Bats, both from McFarlane Toys. And then we have the DC Essentials Catwoman and Knightfall Batman, both from DC Collectibles, or currently DC Direct. We got Batman with some Bat Family characters here, Tim Drake and Nightwing back in his old school suit. And why not have Batman here with visualistically appropriate Wonder Woman and Superman? Ah, heck, let's just have the whole Justice League here. So what do I think about McFarlane Toys 7-inch scale classic looking Knightfall Batman action figure? Do I think that it is good, or do I think that it is garbage? No, clearly, I think that it is good. And honestly, quite literally one of the best classic looking Batman figures made to date. I don't really have any complaints about it. Like, zero complaints about this figure. Like, not one. So I guess this is one of the rare occasions where I give a figure a solid 10 out of 10. Awesome. Well, big thanks to McFarlane Toys for sending me this ahead of its release date. It's been a blast reviewing it, and I will see all you super folks later. Have a DC day, everybody, and take care.